But I want to segue to a subject that you said, a subject that we all like, extraterrestrials. Tucker, personally, what I think that they're trying to do with extraterrestrials is I believe it was Ronald Reagan who said that it would take an existential outside threat in order to bring all the nations together. So I think that they might be using aliens as a psyop to scare us. What is your opinion on aliens, Tucker?
Well, the whole topic has certainly been frequently used as a psyop. That's documented. I mean, it's a lot of it's out, Project Blue Book and all that stuff. I mean, there's absolutely no question the U.S. government used this story as a distraction, has lied a great deal about it, and that's, I have no doubt, still in progress. The question is, at the core, underneath all of that, underneath all the lying, is there something there? And yes, there is. And it's been written about since we have a written record. It's been written about for thousands of years. And so, yes, there is something that is not human flying around. It is an independent intelligence. Is it extraterrestrial? I don't think that it is. That's just my guess, informed guess. But whatever it is real. That's one thing we know. The second thing we know is the U.S. government absolutely does have physical evidence of this, whatever it is. And we know that from 10 separate whistleblowers, a couple of whom I know. And then the third thing we know is that the U.S. government, the Congress specifically, including the Senate Majority Leader, including the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and including 2 different committee chairmen, are making extraordinary efforts to prevent the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023 from being, from taking effect, from preventing the act from releasing the information to the public. They're trying really, really hard. And that's true, and I know that for a fact. So, of course, there are psyops, and they're going in many different directions. It's hard to know exactly what they are. But the core facts are this is real. The U.S. government does have physical evidence, and they are still trying to hide it from us. So what does that add up to? I don't know. I've done a lot on this, and I've talked to a lot of people, and my personal view is, they're not doing that by accident. I think there's dark stuff at the center of the story, really dark. I mean, I know that is true. I believe that is true. So.
Well, and obviously you've done a lot of research about space, so I think that you'd be very familiar with. My next question is about Operation Paperclip. After World War II, we brought the top Nazi scientists, Werner von Braun being one of them, over to America to create our space program, NASA. He was best friends with Walt Disney. And then he was able to go to the moon in 1969 and 1972, 6 different trips through backwards and forwards through the Van Allen radiation belt 12 times with technology that they accidentally destroyed. So my question for you is, do you think that the moon landing was real, and do you think that it was done by Nazis that were literally brought over during Operation Paperclip? Is that a conspiracy, or is that true in your opinion, Tucker?
I don't know. I do know that the original moon landing tapes have been erased at NASA because they needed, the tape space, so they just kind of taped over them. That's the official.
That's the official, Tucker. That's the official story. Is they taped over, and the official story is that they lost the technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. Yet Elon Musk's own rockets can't go. The moon is 257,000 miles away. Elon Musk's rocket busted at less than 90 miles away. So we don't have a space vehicle in the past 50 years that can even go 257,000th or whatever it is, the distance that the Apollo rockets went. So it's very unusual to think that the technology in 1969 somehow got deleted and that it went backwards. So I think that's why the moon landing I'm very passionate about. I think it's a big lie.
Well, I don't look. I've seen so many things that I believe revealed as lies in the past 5 or 6 years, and I've been shocked on almost a daily basis. And I'm much older than you, so I grew up in a country where people sort of believed things, including their government, which clearly had the capacity to do bad things. But most of the time, we felt living here that it was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I've revised my view of that because I've had to. So I'm open-minded on it. I will say, the one counter argument I would make, so my friend Darren Beatty, I don't know if you know him, he's a really smart guy, runs Revolver News. Yeah, I love Darren. He's always making the obvious point that this was transistor radio technology. We now have AI, but we can't get to the moon. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Fair. But I would also say that actually the country has gone backward in a lot of ways since '69, which weirdly is the year I was born, in really observable ways that we never mentioned. The arts, for example, there hasn't been a great novel written in the United States since 1969. There hasn't been. It's garbage. So it's the most powerful, richest country in the history of the world, but not one person has written a book even like a third as good as Anna Karenina in 53 years. So can you explain that? I mean, Anna Karenina was written, 150 years ago in a tiny country with a population, 1/5 or 1/6 of our size now, in a poor country with minimal literacy, and they managed to churn out one of the great novels ever written. And we can't replicate that. So I do think there has been a death of the creative impulse in the United States, and I trace it to the summer of 1945 when we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or something about that changed America fundamentally. This is just my theory, but I think I'm right. And like, we haven't created much actually since then, and I think it's weird. It's very weird.
Art is dead. I mean, if you just look at the architecture of buildings now, there's postmodernism. It's ugly. They just built the new Globe Life Park here for the Rangers, and it literally looks like a Costco. It's $1 billion Costco. I mean, there's nothing ornate about it, nothing pretty. It's literally that. So I think you are right. I think we're getting dumber. It's like the movie.
So, but can I just ask you one thing though? It's like, so that park, I haven't seen your park in Dallas that was just built, though I will. But like, we know who built that. We know who designed it. We know who the architect is. And you spend $1 billion building a public work, which is effectively what that is, and you destroy a city with that, and you degrade people, and you detract from their lives with the ugliness that you create, and you don't get arrested and sentenced to prison. I don't understand that. I mean, we're sending people to prison for all kinds of things, 1,000 people after January 6th, but the architect who wrecked Dallas doesn't go to prison? I mean, I'm serious. Like, I think we're looking at this wrong.
Well, and let's be real, a guy that I like, Tucker, I love this guy, but can you not, I mean, would you have ever thought in the year 2023, the most famous artist in the world is Hunter Biden? Would you have ever thought that?
No, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's garbage. And you know what, I mean, you don't want to get me my theories on art, but I mean, what is art? So art is truth, right? The closer you get to the truth, the more beautiful something is, of course, right? And the most beautiful thing of all is nature. Unspoiled nature is the purest thing. So if you have a society based on lies, where everyone is required to lie all the time or he's punished, then of course you can't produce art. I mean, it's impossible. It's impossible to produce. Nothing dishonest can be beautiful. Therefore, art is impossible. I mean, that's kind of my guess on this.